Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
I'm running for president. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion. I'm hitting the road to earn your vote, and I hope you'll join me on this journey.
That's exactly how I feel at the thought of Hillary Clinton for president. Now, we've already told you that she finally turned over her server after all this time, but now we know that she handed it over after it was professionally wiped clean. So this means it was wiped clean of any usable information. And the 3 thumb drives that she also turned over, they contained only what she selectively culled from her server. So again, just total transparency here with this one. This is a myriad of criminal offenses that are applied to this conduct. And the Observer points out the colossal number of Clinton crimes here that are just piling up, and how the federal law enforcement is blatantly just turning a blind eye to this. Anyone else would have already been thrown in jail. So these are infractions of laws that are designed to protect national security. And we've seen in the past that they've gone after people, even reporters. They've been investigated, prosecuted. Some of them have spent years in prison. So they go on to point out how the federal law enforcement didn't hesitate 1 minute to investigate and prosecute former CIA Director General David Petraeus. He shared his notebook with his biographer/girlfriend. I mean, he didn't turn over any top secret information there, but of course his name was dragged through the mud. They've also threatened news reporters and prosecuted whistleblowers under the Espionage Act. In fact, this administration has prosecuted more reporters and whistleblowers for espionage than all prior administrations put together. Of course, they immediately seized Fox News reporter James Rosen's emails without him even knowing. Same thing was happening to Cheryl Atkinson. She reported that her computer was being taken over, of course. And then, of course, we've reported about former House Speaker Dennis Hastert and Senator Menendez. So they were getting all kinds of bad press. Senator Menendez can't even go on vacation with his best friend because that looks a little fishy. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton and her foundation can accept millions of dollars from foreign governments that are, of course, seeking to curry her favor there at the State Department. And the Wall Street Journal points out that the entire time of her State Department tenure, Hillary Clinton declined to allow an inspector general there. So there was no internal oversight. And of course, let's not forget that $6 billion that vanished under Hillary Clinton's State Department. So are we seeing a pattern here? Anyone else would have already been arrested, thrown in jail. But no, she's still being paraded around like she's the Democratic frontrunner, like she's the inevitable future president. She is a criminal. But you know what? Hillary Clinton is not alone in her criminal politicking. Take a look.
If nothing's going to change, I don't know how we ever expect to win.
John Boehner, the whimpering poster boy for the left-right paradigm and its inner corporate mechanizations, the man that oversees the shameful backdoor deals rampant in the nation's capital that have spiraled out of control and spilled out into the main streets of America, needs to be fired.
He's nothing but a low-down, double-dealing, backstabbing, larcenous, perverted worm. Hanging's too good for him. Burning's too good for him.
Representative Mark Meadows, a Republican from District 11 in North Carolina, introduced House Resolution 385 on July 28th. The resolution requires 29 Republican members of the House to vote to vacate the chair. The Republican Speaker of the House, John Boehner, would then need to beg Democrats to save his treasonous skin. This action has never succeeded in the House and has only been attempted once, 105 years ago. So why should we fire John Boehner? Well, the Mark Meadows resolution lists a number of grievances. A few of those include Boehner caused the power of Congress to atrophy, thereby making Congress subservient to the executive and judicial branches. Boehner is using the power of the office to punish members who vote according to their conscience instead of the will of the Speaker. John Boehner used his political ally, Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz, to punish Meadows by releasing him of his subcommittee chairmanship for voting against the procedural motion to fast-track the TPP. But Chaffetz and Boehner couldn't bully Meadows out of his chair after conservatives rallied strong disapproval. Boehner is making it abundantly clear: speak the will of the American American people, and you will be punished. Other grievances include providing for voice votes on consequential and controversial legislation to be taken without notice and with few members present. Another grievance reads, John Boehner does not comply with the spirit of the rules, which provide that members shall have 3 days to review legislation before voting. The American people can't even see what's in the TPP.
In the House, the American people's priorities continue to be our priorities. Free trade is good for jobs. It's good for America's farmers, manufacturers, and small businesses. Trade votes are never an easy lift around here, but Republicans are continuing to work, and we're seeing some positive momentum in the right direction.
And remember when Nancy Pelosi said this,
but we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Any of your listeners, whatever state they might be in, if they would call their member of Congress, all of them are home now for the next 3-4 weeks actually, and call them and ask them to tell the person that answers the phone to remind that congressman that he or she could join in this resolution to vacate the chair. And if we can get enough votes, what will happen, we will have a straight up or down vote on who the next speaker should be to replace John Boehner. The H Resolution 385 is now in the Rules Committee. The Rules Committee will be the committee that will determine to send this back to the full House, meaning back to the floor of the House, for a vote. Every member sitting on the floor of the House will have a chance to vote to vacate the chair, and then that would mean there would be another vote for the Speaker of the House, and it would be a new person if that happened. So that's where it is.
Combat that lingering feeling of defeat we Americans have endured daily for years. Make your voice heard. Call, email, or personally ask your representative to vacate the chair. This is your country. It doesn't belong to blubbering traitorous scum like John Boehner. Fire John Boehner. Resist the tyranny. This is how our founders set up the system for peaceful revolution. John Bound for Infowars.com.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force,